Hi there, today is Time to Talk Day. I'm Sam from BrightHR and I'm joined by Andy Reid MBE to discuss mental health and how having open conversations about mental wellbeing can be absolutely crucial. Andy, thank you so much for joining us. I know this is a topic really close to your heart and it's something that I believe is absolutely essential in supporting all people. How has talking about your experience with mental health helped you?
I think it helps in a lot of different ways, talking about your mental health and how you deal with that. It helps you offload it out of your own mind. And I think, talking about it, obviously I do my motivational speaking, so for me, that's kind of like my therapy. So I do see a counsellor as and when things get a bit too tough for me. But because I do the speaking events, maybe like 2 or 3 times a month, that's me offloading what happened during my journey, what happened maybe in elements of my childhood, out of my mind. And I think by kind of downloading that information out of your mind into speech or even onto paper can really help you think about it more and process it more and analyse it more and then move forward.
Definitely. So not just a sort of sense of relief in the moment, but it gives you time to step back and review what you've put out there and see how it makes more sense.
Yeah, I think definitely. And obviously at the end of this talk that I do, sometimes there's questions. So then people want to know a little bit more maybe. So then it helps you then maybe go a bit more into depth about it. And I think just speaking about things in general just helps everyone move forward.
So what were some of the worries you had before opening up about your mental well-being and how did you overcome those concerns?
I suppose the biggest worry is being a big tough soldier, allegedly. Do we speak about these things? What will people think of me for opening up and maybe getting a bit emotional sometimes you talk about these things? How will I be perceived by others? Can you be a leader if then you're speaking about problems that you're having or you're getting emotional about problems that you're having? But I think 100% you can be. I think it makes you stronger. I think it makes you a better leader and a better person by having the strength to speak about your problems. No, it's not a weakness to speak about your problems. It's actually a strength to speak about your problems, and it makes you a stronger and better person. And people who are in and around you maybe not got the confidence that you've got, maybe gives them the confidence to be able, Andy's speaking out about his issues, so that means that I can maybe speak out about my issues, and I think that's what's very important.
I think that's so relatable because I think there will be so many people that sit on their problems and don't speak about them for the fear of looking, in their mind, weaker, when in actual fact, all it's going to do is allow people in and it's going to get you help.
Yeah, 100%. And I think some people as well kind of see myself and obviously see my injuries and say, I can't really speak to Andy about that. I can't really mourn about that because I've only got a sore back, or maybe my grandma's passed away and I'm grieving about that, but maybe it's not as big as your issues. Well, but in your world, it's an issue. And if that's affecting you in your world, it could be that your big toenails fell off. And in your world, that's affecting you mentally and physically. So you need to speak about that. It's not relatable to somebody else's problems or somebody else's issues. If it's a problem in your world, then you need to speak out about that and address that, and then we can then move forward with that. So I think sometimes people think, I can't really say that because some people have got other bigger issues than what I have. But people deal with issues in different ways, don't they? And, well, I'm going to toenails, so mine falling off won't be an issue to me at all, would it? But, a sore back is a sore back, isn't it? And if it's affecting you mentally and physically in your well-being and your life, then you need to speak about that to somebody and get help and move forward.
Definitely. I read a really good quote the other day that said something like, trauma can't be compared and quantified, so you couldn't score higher than somebody else on a trauma chart because it's not applicable. Your life and your experiences have accumulated into what you're experiencing now, and unfortunately, if there is something that you're going through and it's hurting you, nobody can say, no, it doesn't, or...
It's not a quiz, is it? You know what I mean? Yeah. It's not like who gets the top score for being the most depressed or the most anxious or have got something going on. If, like you say, if it's affecting your well-being, it doesn't matter how small or how big it is, we need to address it.
Now, did you find that any of the issues you were concerned about came true, or has your perspective on talking about mental health changed since you engaged in conversations surrounding your well-being?
What I found by speaking about it, I go to a couple of groups where we have like a group meeting and a load of blokes around there, and we all talk about relationships and anxiety and depression and whatever we've just done that week. What I found was it weren't just me. There was other people in the room as well who had anxiety issues about Are they bringing the children up the right way? Are the children spending too much time on the iPads, or are they doing the right thing in work, or are they worried about what bills they've got to pay? And I think that's the good thing about speaking out, is I actually think it's not just me. It's not just me who feels this way. By speaking to others, you actually think, oh, he's struggling as well in that area of his life. And you might look at someone who you might think is a bit of a role model to you, and someone you look up to, and then all of a sudden they say, you know what, Andy, I get anxious sometimes. I get depressed about, am I spending enough time with my kids? Am I doing this, or this current situation, I'm not seeing my friends? And you think, wow, well, if he can say that, then it makes you feel better that it's not just you struggling in that area. So I think that's what the speaking in groups definitely does, and speaking out, someone will definitely say, that's me as well.
Absolutely. And I think it does take a really strong person to be able to start that conversation and break that barrier initially. But once that's kind of been shared, so many more people can then either relate to that or start to open up about their own problems. And it just has a ripple effect, and it will help so many more people just by having that initial conversation. Thank you for joining Andy and I for It's Time to Talk Day. I hope that some of the points we've covered will help you when discussing your own mental health and well-being. And don't forget, it's always better to have a conversation than suffer in silence. Take care.